The mastermind behind America's largest car theft operation. In the bustling streets of New York City, a secret empire was silently rising, orchestrated by a man few had ever heard of. Min Jin Yang, a former Chinese intelligence officer, arrived in the United States with a mission no one could have anticipated: to build the largest and most sophisticated car theft network in American history. Jin Yang specialized in stealing luxury vehicles, the very symbols of wealth that New York is famous for. Typically, when a car is stolen, law enforcement at least recovers parts or traces. But under Jin Yang's operation, thousands of cars vanished without a clue. No parts, no signals, nothing. A city of opportunity and targets, New York, one of the most luxurious and dynamic cities in the world, has an unmatched concentration of wealthy individuals who flaunt their success through luxury vehicles. The city's shimmering avenues are lined with high-end brands like Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Rolls-Royce, all glittering under the urban skyline. In 1999, an alarming surge in high-end car thefts gripped the city, sending waves of fear and confusion among car owners. In a span of just 6 weeks, 48 luxury vehicles vanished without a trace. Cars disappeared in moments, calmly, quietly, efficiently. Parking lots, malls, private driveways, even guarded residential streets. No place was safe. The speed and precision of these thefts stunned both the public and law enforcement alike. Owners would step into a store for mere minutes, only to return and find their prized possession gone without a trace. Even neighborhoods boasting the latest high-end surveillance systems failed to capture any useful footage of the culprits. It was as if a ghost army was sweeping through New York, taking what it wanted with chilling professionalism and eerie silence. The traditional assumption was that stolen cars would eventually resurface, often stripped for parts or abandoned in remote areas. However, this time, the vehicles seemed to vanish completely, as if swallowed by the city's endless sprawl. Recovery teams, once confident in tracing stolen vehicles through chopped-up remains or scattered VIN numbers, found themselves at a complete loss. It was a new kind of enemy they were facing, one that left behind no fingerprints, no witnesses, no clues. New Yorkers grew restless. Insurance companies faced soaring claims, dealerships tightened security, and car owners became paranoid, second-guessing every parked moment. The media amplified public fear, splashing headlines about the invisible car thieves across newspapers and television. This pressure created a political ripple effect, with city officials demanding faster results from an already overwhelmed police force. The mystery deepened with every passing day, leading authorities to suspect a much larger and more organized operation than anything they had ever encountered before. Whispers of international crime rings began to circulate, and federal agencies took interest. It wasn't just about stolen cars anymore. It was about the embarrassing realization that New York, one of the world's most secure and surveilled cities, had become a hunting ground for an unseen predator. Behind the scenes, an invisible mastermind was executing a plan far more sophisticated than anything law enforcement had prepared for. They were about to face an opponent who had mastered the arts of disappearance, deception, and dominance. Most stolen vehicles eventually resurface, often stripped of their valuable components. However, in this case, it was as if the cars had been swallowed by the earth. Police speculated that the cars were being exported, and Brooklyn's bustling ports became their prime suspect. Yet investigations turned up nothing. It was clear they weren't dealing with ordinary criminals. This was something bigger. The man behind the curtain entered Min Jin Yang. He wasn't a local gangster. He wasn't even American. He was a former intelligence officer for the Chinese military, discharged in 1990. After leaving the army, he moved to Shanghai, where he noticed an insatiable demand for luxury cars that were nearly impossible to buy in China. Seeing a golden opportunity, Jin Yang approached a major Shanghai gang leader with a bold proposition. Leveraging his expertise in smuggling and intelligence, he promised to bring luxury cars into China, circumventing tight regulations. The gang leader agreed, funding Jin Yang's operation with $500,000 and a 60/40 profit split. His destination? New York City, the promised land of luxury vehicles. Building a ghost network upon arriving in New York, Jin Yang adopted the alias Kenny and portrayed himself as a struggling immigrant, blending seamlessly into American society. He drove an old Nissan Altima, lived modestly, and attracted no attention. He wasn't alone. He brought an assistant, Poi Chow, and together they set out to find a warehouse. It needed to be secluded, away from police stations, and located in a clean neighborhood, free of crime and unwanted attention. After weeks of searching, they found the perfect spot. Using a front company that appeared to be a food distributor, they leased the warehouse. Dry food boxes lined the entrance, masking the operation within. Surveillance cameras were installed discreetly, monitoring every inch of the surrounding streets. The assembly of a crew Jin Yang needed skilled hands. He exclusively recruited trusted Chinese nationals, ensuring loyalty and minimizing language barriers. For the actual thefts, he needed someone seasoned. After frequenting car garages and auctions, he met Dean, a veteran car thief. Through Dean, he connected with Mario Lopez, an even more skilled accomplice. Jin Yang established a strict hierarchy. Dean handled the theft logistics, Mario prepared the cars for stealing, and a team of lesser thieves executed the operations. Jin Yang himself never touched a stolen vehicle, maintaining layers of insulation between him and the crimes. The art of stealing, the thefts were executed with military precision. Mario would identify a target, disable alarms using laptops to hack onboard computers, and start the car within a minute. They avoided breaking locks to prevent disabling the car's computers. The stolen cars were hidden among luxury vehicles in upscale neighborhoods to avoid drawing attention. They waited 2 days to see if the car was being tracked. If not, it was moved to the warehouse. Precautions were meticulous. Surveillance cars monitored anyone following them. Trucks transported the cars to the warehouse, never directly linked to the thieves. Once inside, trusted Chinese workers refurbished the vehicles to pristine condition. Shipping across oceans. Shipping the cars required equal cunning. Fake manifests declared the containers full of food, matching the weight of the loaded cars. But instead of sending them directly to New York's port, they transported containers by train to California, a move both strategic and geographical. From California, the containers were shipped, but not directly to China. Instead, they were clandestinely transferred at sea to other ships, ships whose crews were aware of the true contents. This labyrinth of transportation made tracking the stolen vehicles nearly impossible. Scaling the operation. As profits soared, so did the demand. Jin Yang expanded operations, now targeting entire dealerships. Mario orchestrated dealership thefts, memorizing key locations during test drives, then breaking in and stealing multiple vehicles within minutes. However, one slip proved costly. During a dealership heist, a stolen car crashed, leading to the driver's arrest. Under pressure, he named Dean and Mario. The beginning of the end. Police shifted strategies, launching full surveillance on Dean. They monitored his calls, tracked his movements, and began unraveling the gang's network. But Jin Yang was a master of counter-surveillance. When he caught wind of the monitoring, he rapidly evacuated his warehouse, right under the noses of law enforcement. Disguised as a food transport operation, trucks hauled away all incriminating evidence before investigators raided the empty warehouse. With no physical evidence, law enforcement had to bide their time. They intensified wiretaps, focusing on the gang's family members to discover new burner phone numbers. Identifying the mastermind. Finally, a breakthrough. A conversation revealed Kenny was active again, planning new shipments. Undercover officers tracked Kenny to a restaurant where he met with Chow. Overhearing their discussions about a new warehouse location, police secretly installed surveillance cameras and GPS trackers. This time, law enforcement had the upper hand. They watched as stolen cars flowed into the new warehouse. Final mistakes. Growing complacent, the gang stopped observing the 2-day waiting period after thefts. When they stole several cars from a parking garage, with inside help from a guard, they rushed the cars directly to the warehouse. One of the cars had a working GPS tracker. A local police officer, unaware of the ongoing investigation, followed the signal to the warehouse. Sensing the urgency, surveillance teams moved in. They raided the warehouse and arrested several workers, but Jin Yang was not among them. The fall of Min Jin Yang. Fortunately, investigators had kept Jin Yang's home under constant watch. The moment the warehouse was compromised, they swooped in and arrested him. Under interrogation, Jin Yang's true identity was revealed. Kenny was actually Min Jin Yang, former Chinese military intelligence. His sophistication, strategic foresight, and ability to stay hidden for so long suddenly made perfect sense. Despite the monumental nature of his crimes, thousands of stolen luxury cars worth over $75 million, the legal system faced hurdles. Jin Yang wasn't directly caught stealing vehicles. He orchestrated the operations. Ultimately, he was convicted of enterprise corruption and sentenced to just 10 years in prison. The millions he made were safely tucked away in China, untouched by U.S. authorities. The legacy of a criminal genius. In the end, Min Jin Yang outsmarted some of the best law enforcement agencies in the world for nearly a decade. His story remains a testament to how intelligence, planning, and patience can turn one man into the architect of one of the most elusive and lucrative criminal operations America has ever seen. His methods were unlike any seen before, precise, layered, and almost invisible to the untrained eye. Despite working in one of the most surveilled cities on the planet, Jin Yang managed to weave through the cracks effortlessly, making the entire system look fragile and vulnerable. Law enforcement officials later admitted that his level of organization resembled military operations more than criminal activity. Every move was calculated, every risk assessed. Even when cornered, Jin Yang had contingency plans in place, allowing him to slip through their fingers multiple times before his final capture. The fact that he managed to hide millions of dollars in profits overseas, completely untouched by American authorities, only adds to the legend of his criminal genius. Today, Min Jin Yang's story serves as a case study for law enforcement agencies worldwide, a chilling reminder that sometimes the most dangerous adversaries are not those who strike with brute force, but those who operate with patience, precision, and unshakable discipline. And so ends the tale of the intelligence officer who conquered New York streets without ever firing a shot. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more amazing stories.